Today we are checking out another exciting lithium stock on the ASX, ticker LTR. They are Liontown Resources. This is a company which is just moving from the exploration to the development stage of a lithium mine. And today we're going to be performing a fundamental overview of the company and performing some technical analysis to make some predictions on where we can expect to see LTR go in the near future. Let's get into it. I've partnered with Crypto.com to provide my viewers with an awesome opportunity to accelerate their crypto journey. Crypto.com is used by over 50 million users in 90 countries across the globe and is a leading platform for buying, selling and staking crypto. They also offer metal Visa cards with a huge range of rewards that allow you to convert and withdraw your crypto in fiat currency. Crypto.com is offering a $25 sign up reward using my affiliate link in the description or by entering affiliate code RyanProven. How's it going, guys? Ryan here and welcome back to another ASX analysis video. Today we're taking a look at, as I mentioned, Liontown Resources. Their ticker on the ASX is LTR and they are another emerging lithium producer. Their flagship project, the Kathleen Valley Lithium Project, has just received approval from the government in order to start their construction phase. FID was only just completed back in June of 2022, and with this approval now just coming in on October, they can actually get on site and start making things happen. This, of course, is a major milestone for any sort of mining and resources company, and for LTR is certainly one of the big kickers when it comes to showing this is a company which is serious about producing lithium. Right now, they are currently sitting at a value of about $3.5 billion. And when you look at a typical explorer, those numbers can actually seem quite high. But when you realize that this is a 4 million ton per annum hard rock spodumene lithium mine, you understand those numbers. But let's jump into a fundamental overview of LTR and take a better look. So to kick things off, let's just talk about their Kathleen Valley project. This is a project located in Western Australia, just north of Kalgoorlie, and it is a massive resource at 156 million tons with 1.4% lithium oxide. So as you can see, this is certainly a tier 1 resource, and you can really see that from the offtake agreements they've signed. They've signed offtake agreements with the likes of Tesla, LG and Ford. As you can see, these are those companies which you would expect to require lithium in the future, and it shows the strong demand not only for lithium but for LTR's resources specifically. From a construction perspective, low-cost financing has been achieved and now the project delivery is underway with construction commencing. The EPCM company is Lycopodium, which has been basically awarded to them, and they will undergo, of course, the construction process for this project. It's also worth noting that they have another project as well, the Buldania project, which is only 15 million tons at 1% lithium oxide. But of course, this really floats into their strategy where it's 3 stages, developing, of course, Kathleen Valley at the start, a downstream expansion, and then, of course, through mergers and acquisitions and growth, they are aiming to achieve a significant valuation increase in that regard. Now, what is the real advantage for investors in Liontown Resources? Well, of course, when we're talking financing, they are fully funded all the way through to first production, and you know when that production is going to start, that the offtakes are in place right now, and they are with those tier 1 providers, those Teslas, LGs and Fords, big companies which are also, tier 1 companies. They have a fantastic mining jurisdiction being in Western Australia. Very safe, very regulated. So you know that if the government has given them approval now, which has just occurred, it is going to be pretty much an easy process from here on out. Of course, with the various hiccups and that sort of thing that you would tend to see when it comes to executing and of course establishing a project itself. Just a bit more on their execution strategy. Right now, 85% of the mechanical equipment has been ordered, and that is to the value of about $147 million, and 40% of the total project spend is expected to be on a fixed price basis, so you can rest assured that the numbers are relatively locked in at this point in time. So of course, what are we looking for now? Well, we want to see and understand the overall timeline when it comes to the Kathleen Valley project. When are they coming online? And of course, what can you expect from a valuation perspective? Well, they are expecting it to come online relatively quickly. We're expecting the initial construction to have been completed in early 2023, but this isn't for the full 4 million ton per annum mine. This is for 2.5 million tons per annum. So of course, what you need to understand here is there's always a ramp up process involved with these types of companies. But within a period of 6 years, they have advised that they will reach that 4 million ton per annum level, and of course 700,000 tons of spodumene concentrate, which is the driving factor here. Now, the reason why I really enjoy looking at companies like Liontown Resources is because they have reduced their risk. And when you compare them to many of their peers, they are in a fantastic position. Having those offtake agreements already in place with multiple tier 1 providers allows them to easily diversify from a sales perspective, and when you're starting to see construction commencing and approvals being granted, you know the boxes are being ticked and the management team are very serious about delivering a project which is profitable for the business, but of course also profitable for their investors as well. But now let's take a look at the chart, perform some technical analysis and make some predictions on where we can expect to see LTR go in the near future. Welcome back into the LTR chart, guys. As you can see right now, we have closed at a value of $1.61. Now, the first thing I noticed when I saw this chart was, of course, the moving averages. That 200-day moving average is acting as a major point of support for this chart at the moment. You can see it's right now sitting at a value of $1.46. The price managed to bounce above it and track back towards that 50 and 20-day moving average. They are right now the major points of resistance for this stock. You can see there was a test and it managed to get above these points briefly, but unfortunately closed below them. This is a critical point. The price really needs to get back above at least the 20-day moving average right now, due to the fact that if it doesn't, we will see a cross, and that will be the 20-day moving average going below the 50-day moving average, a bit like that, and that would be an indicator for a short-term downtrend. Now, the price is really starting to, of course, test that point, and there is still more days in this week to see if it's going to happen, but these lines are very close together, as you can see. So realistically, they are our key points of resistance and support at the moment. So what I'm going to do is briefly draw in our support line just down there. I'm going to copy it up and I'm going to move our key point of resistance right between those two moving averages as well. I'd suggest it's probably at about that $1.62 mark. So we didn't manage to crack it exactly today, but you can see from a price action perspective, these have been major breakout and of course breakdown points for this stock. Plenty of price action around there and a solid base of support for the next move should we manage to get above this point, which I do believe that we will. On a volume perspective, not too much going on at this point in time. Momentum is relatively the same across the days with the exceptions where we do have spikes. Now, keeping in mind, the overall market has been a bit turbulent and these spikes are correlating with that turbulence. Sell-offs really being the driving factor due to sphere of the overall market. But interestingly enough, LTR has held up significantly better than many other stocks and of course their peers as well. Zooming out, can we put in place a little bit of a trend? And I think we certainly can from a longer term perspective. If we put in a line right about here, you can see this is realistically our upwards sort of trending line at this point in time. We've had a bounce off this point back in June and July of this year, and we are still tracking in an upwards direction. Unless this line breaks, which the price is nowhere near that point at this point in time, sitting at about $1 right now, we will continue the upwards momentum. And of course, if we manage to break back above this $1.62 mark, then it's really going to fly moving into the near future. Overall, looking relatively good at the moment. Nothing too scary on face value, but let's take a look at a few other indicators. Firstly, let's have a look at the relative strength index. You can see it's basically smack bang in the middle, sitting at 51.18. Plenty of room for us to move upwards, but of course, if the market does crash, there is plenty of room for this stock to move down as well. Although the trend has been down basically since the overbought period where we hit a value of 84.28 on the 11th of August, and we are now just starting to see possibly a little bit of a bounce getting back above this yellow line here. So not too shabby from that perspective as well. MACD wise, what are we looking at from that perspective? Well, something quite interesting. We've had this extended red period, as you can see, from the 22nd of August, but it's looking like the 12-day EMA is now finally swooping back upwards and likely to converge, of course, on that other moving average, which is the 26-day. So that cross would be a massive indicator for a reversal in this red period right here. If we do see that, this point, $1.62, will certainly be surpassed. And that is what you really want to be looking out for. The cross of the 12-day EMA above the 26-day EMA is going to be the catalyst for a big move in an upwards direction. Now, let's say that does occur. How are we going to work out where we need to get to? Well, I realistically think what we should probably be looking at is our current, I suppose, trend from all the way up here at the all-time high. And that high value is a value of $2.19. And of course, we've dipped from that point, but we've come back up. And in fact, it is almost in a bit of a cup and handle pattern that we have seen form right about here. So where would we expect to go? Well, I like to take these top points over here and try and draw some sort of a trend line in place from that point. Not enough data to do that this time. So realistically, I'm not going to take this point. I'm going to take the point of the next most amount of price action that we have not been able to get through, I suppose, and it's probably sitting at about the $1.81 mark. So that would realistically be the target we're looking for when we do close above $1.62, which could be coming within the next week based on what we're seeing on a potential MACD cross. So what else can we look at from this perspective as well? Let's look at the Bollinger Bands, because this will show us where we're going to get a bit of momentum building. You can see it was getting tight around here and we broke downwards when the market crashed overall. The bands are now coming closer together once again, but they still have a period of time. This tells me that we shouldn't expect something too volatile within probably the next few days, but within the coming weeks we could possibly see a breakout should we track in a relatively sideways direction moving forward. So what I'm looking to see from this at the moment is basically a few tests and eventually a break, of course, of this key point of resistance here at $1.62. And when we see that, a break of those Bollinger Bands once again as well. What is my price prediction? Well, I think relatively in the short term, we're probably going to see some sideways action. Certainly probably due to the fact that we've got horizontal resistance here combined with the 20 and the 50-day moving averages. Hard to get through. Do not be shocked if we move back down towards this horizontal point of support. which is basically our 200-day moving average at $1.46. Do not be surprised, but within, I'd suggest, the next month or so, we could easily see this value up here at $1.81 being tested. That wraps up today's analysis of lithium stock Liontown Resources, ticker LTR. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. I'll leave it there for today, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.